I know this early. Well, yes, because yeah, I just happened to finish some things yesterday, and today I was able to sit down and actually work on the skirt. I decided that I'm gonna do it by hand this part because I don't know. I feel that using the machine would require double the thread when it's not needed because I'm just closing it. This is not any strained in here, it's genuinely just for it to be closed. So I'm going with a very simple side to side stitch. Also, just so you know, wait, the cutest. Anyway, I actually did some stuff today as well. Besides this, there's a booth in here where I sometimes sit on, and it's basically a bed that can open, but it can also close. And I did the cover up on my own a while ago, actually, a couple of maybe a year ago, actually. And it's lovely, but it was too long. So the other thing that I did was sort of reduce the length a little bit, and I just went by similar with this, but with a very open stitch, just to attach the extra part on the inside, a folding, a very simple type of thing. And in regards to the projects for this month, I have it in mind. I think it's going to be very fun. I think it's going to be very interesting, and hopefully I can do some very nice stuff. Some of them are going to be sort of new in the sense that I actually started a little bit of it beforehand because it was one of those things that I've been wanting to do, and I was like, yes, I can start doing it. But then other things happened and they stopped me. But now I think I can use that. So everything turns out, I don't need to buy anything. I don't need to, start something from fully scratch without knowing. I actually already have stuff. So I'm actually quite excited. So yeah, we will see this month how it goes. The first and most obvious update is the fact that, well, it's September, which means that the sun begins to fade and we enter winter, which means less time. It is actually early and it's one of those days, so I'm sorry if it's a bit dark. It is what it is. That's how the seasons work. Anyway, so I have updates with the jacket. I was like, I don't know, I thought at a certain point, hey, let's put everything up so I can take a picture and I can, have that as an idea, that way I don't have to put it on and off constantly. And I realized that if I add more volume to the skirt, because I want to add more volume to the skirt, well, the jacket doesn't work because it's too long. I'm not very tall and my torso is not particularly long either. So the dynamic of the proportions was not working. So I basically had to cut the sides, especially here, because it was a little bit on my hips and it needed to be on my waist. So I had to pin it so it fits there. I don't want to cut anything. I prefer to sew it inside, do the folding. That way at least everything is intact, because considering this type of material I want to avoid cutting at all costs. So this is kind of the look. It is all pinned down, as you can see. It's gonna look also more pointy in here, and I actually had to take off a couple of these ones because they didn't fit. But I mean, I don't hate it. It's just a little bit of a change in order for it to make sense in the whole context. Plus that last night while I was watching some series, I started to play a little bit with ribbons and stuff. And I have some ideas, some of the decorations that I want to do. Also, I added some flowers in here because a lot of the thematic of this costume is flowers because of nature. I mean, for me, it makes sense because I don't know. I think that Snow White is one of the first ones that had this connection with nature and animals, but in particular flowers. I don't know. It just makes sense to me, so I decided to add some fake roses, some of these. Wait, let me take it off so you can see it. These are lace flowers, and I need to come out clean. I actually had to buy some of these things because I did some research around the house and I had some stuff, but the things that I had were not right, so I would have had to modify those. So at the end of the day, it would have been kind of same amount of work, and probably I would have had to buy things again. So I decided, you know what, maybe let's leave that for a future project where that works as it is. And for this one, I again got this lace, flowers, and again some extra ribbons just to add here and there. So yeah, I need to work on those details, and again, the jacket. And as a bit of an extra thing, I'm starting to work mentally on the projects that I could work on, or the things that I could or would like to do. Some of which I have been wanting to do for a while. I was looking at my phone and the pictures that I have saved, the Pinterest board, the usual suspects. And I was like, okay, I think that's something that I have reached a point in which I could do them. So that would be really fun to do. Again, I want to work out on the ideas that don't take too long. So I do them as a sort of, when you're watching a series and you have once in a while one of those filler episodes. That's basically it. And yeah, that's the plan, that's the idea, and we keep on going. Hello, time keeps on going as per usual, but I do have some updates. Now, long story short, I was like, hey, some of the fabrics that I have here are a bit smelly. Let's profit from the sun that is still warming up a little bit to do some cleaning. Of course, that led me to look at all the fabrics and be like, hey, let's take all of my fabrics out and see how I can match them with the projects that I have in mind or that I would like to do in the future. And I was like, oh, that's just gonna be a couple and that's gonna be it. Yeah, no, it was a lot of projects. I have a whole list here, and I decided to do a sort of quick design, and then I took pictures of the design next to the fabrics, because that way my brain is not going to use that fabric for other things, but at the same time, if I want to work on it or I see something that inspires me, I don't have to take things out. I can just rely on the sketches and the pictures of the fabric. The reason for that, it's also because I went to a fabric store the other day, and I wasn't looking for something. I was more like open to, hey, I've been thinking about this fabric for this project. I know I don't have it, but I'm also open to other stuff. And I got 2 pieces of fabric. One, lovely, perfect. It was something that I was looking for. It wasn't a good price, so I got it. The other one, I was like, oh, it's lovely. I could do this or maybe this. So I did not connect it to a project per se. I just kind of thought, oh yeah, it could work. Then when I did the whole thing of the fabrics, that's one of the fabrics that I just put away. There's no connection with any project, because for the other projects, I already had fabric and already have some stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not that the point. The point is that the issue with some of my brain decision making is that there is a lot of not organization, really. I go too many ways. And by having things a little bit more organized, it makes me, more calm and less prone to buying stuff that I don't need. And again, if for whatever reason I get inspired by something, I can just go do this. It's just a little bit easier than taking everything out, because when I take everything out, usually that leads to me doing other stuff. So that's what I've been doing in the last couple of days, just planning. However, that doesn't mean that I'm going to go with all of these projects right off the bat. If anything, the one that I'm still working on and is going to be priority still is the Snow White one. I haven't worked on it in the last couple of days because I was busy doing other stuff, but it's there, absolutely there. I have been working on the details, some of which are here, tiny stuff that I would like to add. I need to kind of figure out some stuff, do some design that modifications in regards to the length of some stuff. Still need to do that, but now that everything's organized, I'm kind of okay with that. So I will do it, I swear. But similar to the Snow White dress, I have a side project, which is something that I'm actually wearing. So I decided to do, again, a sort of still Snow White theme project, but it's a little bit on the different side. And as we go on, if what I'm thinking of goes well, you'll see. But for now, I basically found this fabric in all of the fabric that I had. This was an old jacket, a big puffy winter jacket that I destroyed, because I was like, I'm not gonna wear it, but I could use the fabric, and that's what I did. However, I used some of the fabric, but not all. This is actually the same fabric that is on the Snow White jacket. And I thought, oh, that's lovely, and I would like to use something for that theme. So I was so lucky that the front panels were fully completed. They also have a pocket, and there were also some extra pieces. So I could put everything together and do a new version of the coat. And that's what I did. I just sewed in, as you can see, the white thread because it was just to see how it would fit. And I am actually quite happy. Let me show it to you. So, whoa, besides me falling, as you can see, we have the front beautiful panels. Then I added a big one here at the top, and in order to reach the length of the front ones, I added this extra piece here in the back. Now, one thing though, the line here, something that I'm not too fond of on its own, so I decided, and you can see it on this panel, to add another very quick seam in here just to imitate this, so it doesn't look too like a Frankenstein thing. That's, well, that's what it is, but I don't want it to look like that, you know? And I'm quite happy with the result. I think it, you know, it's very nice. It's the same beautiful, vibrant color that's on the jacket. I also have this extra piece, which I think it was the back part, but that's not gonna be working. So I decided that to leave it last, and I think I'm gonna add it here as a sort of capey thing to the jacket, and I think that's lovely. Plus, I have this silky fabric. I actually started by doing a dress similar with the rectangle flowery dress that I made, but then I was like, no, probably not gonna wear it. Instead, I felt that this type of silk creamy color looks lovely with this one. Like, you can see how vibrant those two colors are. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, they're giving me something. So I decided to start working on the shirt. I made the sleeves, as you can see, very nice. I made both of this. I just did a very simple seam because on the inside this fabric is so frail that I think I need to do the internal closing seam by hand, which is not a issue. I mean, I can do it. So yeah, the front and the back of the shirt, I still need to think about it. I have some ideas, but I don't know, I don't have that much fabric, so I need to kind of really think about what I want and try to avoid wasting any material. But for now, I really enjoy this. Again, I think with this red, it really pops the color out. And between the jacket and skirt and this, where really the point is on the details. I love me some details, and that's something that I work on the skirt, the addition of some things, some of which I'm very happy because I think it really, really elevates the whole thing. And of course, I would love to add some of those details in here. Not in the exact same way, of course, but to recall the things as one connected thing. Of course, there's on its own style, on its own vibe, which I haven't, of course, think about it yet, but that's something that I enjoy the most, I think. After I have a silhouette and I have the bases, it's going crazy with the details because I think they usually elevate the whole thing. And in general, they just make it more fun to look at because there's something so fun about looking at a picture, of looking at a costume and just seeing all of the details, and then you look here and oh, there's this, oh, no, there's that. I love that. And that's something that I want to do. So that's what I decided to do. Now, I said in the previous videos that I wanted to maybe work on some of my everyday clothes, but I don't really have that much to do, and some of the things are for more of the summer, and considering summer as ending, I'm not prioritizing that. If maybe one day I feel like it, I'm gonna bring it out, but for now I have so many different things that I could work with based on the same theme that I have things to do. And if anything, again, if I want to do a bit of a separation for a little bit, you know, I have a lot of things that I could work on. I mean, just putting down ideas, it's something that I enjoy as well because it is a creative outlet. So yeah, that's a bit of a rundown of what has happened in the last couple of days. And again, of the things that I'm working on. Hopefully when I finish the pieces, if I figure out how I'm going to finish them, I can show it to you and we can start putting things together, because that's something that I like to do, is when I have all of it, put it close to each other so you can see how everything goes, because at the end of the day it all goes together. So yay.
I know, that's no lie. It is what it is. But I wanted to show you some of the progress that I've made with the skirt. I added lace and some red details, as well as some pearls and golden ones. And I need to figure out this bow because I'm not certain. Like, I don't mind it, but there's something about it that is not convincing me, so I need to work on it. And also, I decided to add some details to the jacket, but I still need to finish, and I want to wait until it's over to put it on and show it to you. But in the meantime, this is it. In regards to the side project, I'm also working on it. And similar with that one, I have some ideas. However, I needed to kind of wash some of the things because it was a bit too much for my allergies. So that's still dry, and with this weather, it might take a little bit longer. But it's going, and I'm actually quite happy with how it's going. And it's not too fast. It's not that I'm doing a lot during the day, but I do feel that there is a little bit of, consistency in at least doing a little bit every day.
Okay, I'm excited. It's basically the end of the month. I might be able to do something else, but for now I just wanted to show you because I'm actually quite excited. I thought about putting it all together, like wear it, but then I was like, you know what? No, because at this point, considering the base of it all it's done, and I'm adding the details, I just want to wait until I have everything ready so I can show you the full thing. A bit like a surprise final look, I guess. Let's start with the dress, the princess dress. So we have the skirt that and I added some details. Most of the details in everything is basically red roses as well as some red glitter, pearlies, and also some details with similar to this one, but this one came with this. But I also added in other parts gold glitter basically. You can see it more here on the bottom. Now, actually, I don't know how much you can actually see on camera, but it's there, I promise. As you can see, I added lace and I added just stuff. Now, I have these flowers here and I'm still uncertain. That's why there are just two here, two ideas that I have. I'm going to see it. I feel that because I like this space with these details. Now, in order to do any further detailing, I need to put it all on and see it all together because at this point I do want to add stuff, but I want it to make sense. So we'll see. Next we have the shirt, which I haven't added anything really because that's, again, I want to wait until I put everything on considering all of the details that I put on the other stuff. But I have this golden thing and I did study in the Velcro. It was just attached because it has glue on the back, but it was falling every single time. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna solve the whole thing in, and it's basically the same, not big changes here. I also finished the bow. This is something that I kind of need to go through everything, is in take all of the extra thread pieces as well as leveling, because this, for example, wasn't really straight, so I need to kind of check all of the actual pieces on their own that they work together. And next we have one of the things that I've been working on also the most, which is the jacket. And yeah, I know, I changed the buttons and I'm actually quite happy with this one, but I still need to figure out the closing. I have this thread, which is the same one that is here on the jacket already, so I thought it would be nice to use it as a sort of corset type of closing. However, I need to figure out how am I gonna actually put it on and off, because these buttons are lovely but are not really big, and this is a nice big cord, so it kind of falls down. So I need to kind of work on that closure. But as you can see, for the rest, I filled up with details, and I need to still add them here on the blue pieces. And then I also need to think if I want to add something on the red one, because in my original thought I was going to add things. But it's kind of, it has a lot going on, so I need to really think it through. Once again, I need to put it all on. For the hair, I actually already have a couple of ideas for it, but I also need to work on that. And that's also I think it's going to be one of the last things, because once again, everything together I need to put in order to really get the idea. Now let's get to the second costume. Yeah, I know. Starting with, I made a shirt. I had this beautiful fabric, but it is a bitch of a fabric and I just had enough. So I did it and then I was like, I don't like how it's coming, because it is such a material that my machine, probably is me, I cannot find the right amount, and it's just ruined my fabric every time I pass it through. So I was like, okay, I think I have to do it by hand. Not a big issue, but I also want to profit as much as I can from the fabric. So what I did, I first did just a normal, for example, here the arm, but then I decided, you know what? I'm going to add this piece, as you can see, because I'm thinking in the future I could also add something here, but already like this, I don't know, it's a nice detail, the color is just perfect, so it allows me also to do the closing on the inside, basically on one go. So it's very, very useful for me, in order also not to feel that I am just ruining this fabric over and over again. I still need to do the inside of all the pieces, as well as the real attachment, because this is just, you know, a very simple thread in order to have it all together without pins, because if you put it on enough with pins, it can be quite helpful. I also decided to add the pieces on the side, even though it is quite big. I mean, it is big, the point is piratey. So I wanted something flowy, and by adding that, it just gives people flow, but I still need to work also, as you can see, on the ends. I need to level it up, but I need to iron it, to be honest, because otherwise, you know, the measurements are never going to be fully right. So I need to fully iron it and think about the right cut. And then I might think of details. Now, over that one, remember, the idea is piratey. So I think if you see the pieces, you can kind of imagine what we're going for. Now, this is a dress, a very long, big dress that I decided to modify in order to put it as an over thing. If you see it's based on the prince from Snow White, who I don't think has a name, so that's just the prince from Snow White. And I wanted to do the version, but piratey. And so I gathered a couple of pieces that I had, some of which I showed to you, but I want to show you again what I've done. So this one, I basically folded in the front, and then I basically kind of attached to the sides, adding a nice crisscross stitch, because I don't know, I think it was kind of a nice detail. Also, on the sides of the dress, I open it up. This has pockets, and I'm not gonna be the one to take off pockets from a garment. So I basically open it up the sides, all down the pockets, so you have this open piece. Also, the color, perfect color. Next, with some of the pieces of fabric that I had from the skirt, the yellow one, I did a long length piece, and then I folded in half, but not exact. So folding it in half, leaving one side slightly longer than the other, I then attach it, making it double. But as you can see, this portion here is not fully attached, it's open. And on the other side, it has this hole. The whole point is that by doing this, this goes on the hips and basically the waist, and it goes around. And by having this hole, you can basically just pass the pieces through here. They stay down open, so it gives the idea that it's longer, that is more, you know, dramatic than it actually is. And by doing this system, you basically have it steady. So you don't need to add a pin onto it. You don't need to have it a certain measurement, because you can just move it depending on who's going to wear it or where you want to wear it. So that's kind of a useful thing that I was very happy actually to think about when I was making this. I was like, wait a minute. And it actually works, so yay! Now, for the pants, I have nothing going on. Let's not talk about that. I mean, technically they're going to be covered up. So I don't really need to think about pants. I want to think about the other details, some of which I still need to kind of work on because I haven't even started, which is the cover from the shoes. Similar with the Celtic costume that I made, that kind of cover up. I'm thinking of doing that, but in a brown fabric. I should have the brown fabric, so I need to work on that. And then, of course, we have the red jacket, which I basically just work on the stitching with the machine on certain places, just so it is fully attached, as well as some closing. You can see thread basically all around this because I did it yesterday. Here on the back, I level it up because, as you can see, I had some extra fabric. Now I need to do some very simple hand stitching just to attach this. I added some lace here, and I actually have some other pieces of lace, which is the same lace that I use on the jacket. So the idea is that, you know, you have a call out to each other. Now these ones, they're probably going to go on the pockets of this jacket, and then I need to think about other details that I could add. Another thing that I decided to make was this. Should be, technically, a bracelet. This is the same material that is on the skirt, on the details. And I had some pieces left, and I was like, you know what, that would be a nice call out. So I basically had this piece, and I put some metal wire on this part and this part. So that way it's easier for anyone again to put it on and off, or regardless of where you put it on, because the metal, which is thick but not too thick, well, you're gonna just can move it every time, so you can kind of just decide where you want to wear it, and it's gonna stay actually without again having just one measure. I guess it's all purpose, all measures can go. So I put it here that I need a bit more extra space, and as you can see, it's that. And what I like is that the material itself, it's quite rough in the sense that it's making a bit of, it's not falling down, let's just call it that. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy about what I've been doing. One thing though is that, again, it is already October. I'm sorry, what's going on? I was like, okay, yeah, September. I never thought about that after September, that's October. So I'm not gonna lie that I'm like, oh, damn, it's already here. But I'm still quite happy with what I have, because again, considering last year, come on, I have pieces, you know what I mean? Yes, I don't have a lot of details, but you can wear the pieces. Like, there's nothing here that needs to be attached in a way that, okay, I cannot wear it because it would fall down. You could wear absolutely everything. So that already is like, wow, with a month? Damn. So yeah, the fun part, and I guess, like I said, the main point of the last things is just full details, and I'm actually quite excited. So yay!
Okay, it is actually the last day, proper last day of October. And yes, I've been adding some details and some stuff, and I'm actually quite happy with this month because I feel that it wasn't a month in which I was like worrying about finishing something and doing, but at the same time I did stuff. So that's a very nice balance that I quite enjoy, and also I don't feel worried because, like I said, I've done the basic things. So the details are something that I can kind of just work on as I go. I would like to put the whole thing one next to each other and see all of the details that I have gathered, because I wanna see what makes sense and how it can go well. But I'm actually quite happy with what I've done till now. And yeah, it's a very nice feeling, honestly, because you feel that you are creative and that is doing something, even though there is a possibility that I might not be able to wear it, because who knows, maybe I don't find a nice party to go to. It's fine, I still feel very happy with what I made. So yeah, I'm actually quite happy. I hope your month went well, your September month. And if not, it's fine. We have another month right here. So yeah, that's it for this one. See you at the next one. Bye bye.